Welcome back to one of my favorite sports podcasts, Frizz and the Grizz, with your host Trudeau and my guy, Frizzy Frizz.
Hello and welcome back to Frizz and the Grizz. It's your boy Trudeau. Thank you for joining us live. June 9th, you can catch us live on Twitch, Facebook, preferred method, Twitch. Go to that platform, look us up at dfrizzy_frizz5. Follow that handle. Greatly appreciated. Also, if you don't catch us live, we're available on podcasts next day, Apple, Spotify. And guess what? Do you know, maybe not the whole audience, you go watch us on Spotify, you don't just hear us anymore. You can see us, which is pretty damn cool.
Yeah, what up, everybody? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It's busy, so we're gonna get right to it. Did you watch it? Because I completely forgot all about that until you just mentioned it.
I quality checked it. I made sure it looks good, and I like it. It's a cool
Okay.
little touch.
Nice. So, I mean, that's a dope feature, honestly, where those that don't follow us on Twitch, I know it's my handle directly, and some people kind of stay away from social media. I can't be mad at them for doing that if they're like, oh, I'm not on Facebook. Most people have Apple or Spotify on their phone. Like that's like their main streaming source for music. So now that you have the ability to tune in, not just listening to us, you can watch us. It's not live though. It's the recorded like after, correct?
Yes, they see our faces,
Okay.
but what you're seeing now is what the people see on Spotify. It's great.
So you can watch us back like it's, the next day episode of Sports Center, and you can get your information there if you want.
And I definitely recommend at least checking out some of the video because it's different. It's a different feel than just hearing our voices in your head. Because especially D, he gets very animated, and some of the shit he does and faces he makes when he gets really angry. Typically, it's about the Cowboys, about
Notre Dame.
Shador Sanders,
Yep.
most recently.
Yep.
There's some other ones that are hot button issues for D, but I definitely recommend the video because it's a good time.
The visuals is what makes this show the best, because we could just go on every week and just like talk, but like when we actually are face to face and there's a little bit more animation behind it and a little bit more enthusiasm, it makes it feel like this is what it's worth.
Yes. And this week will be a fun one. We're going to really hone it because we're usually very broad as a sports podcast. We talk all sports, especially when the basketball and football season interlock. Right now it's more basketball, but we're going to be very hyper focused today on the NBA finals because it is the big story, the big sporting event. We're 2 games in. D. Should we transition into our first topic?
Let's do this.
All right. So last time we met, we kind of broke down how we saw the series going. Neither of us picked the Pacers to win the series, but we discussed ways in which the Pacers could push the Thunder and make this an interesting series. After 2 games, let me ask you 2 questions and just slow down and marinate on this and pick each one at a time. Number 1, are you surprised at how this series has gone so far? And number 2, are you enjoying this series thus far as well?
Number 1 is no, I'm not surprised the least. Number 2, I am, because I'm not the broadcasting of the series of the season of the series. I'm kind of over YouTube TV. Like I wouldn't buy YouTube TV
Well, there goes our
now.
sponsor.
I don't care. Like, and they could get mad at me for it. I don't care. I like the old schoolness of like how it feels to be in the NBA finals. The fact that there's like 20 ads for YouTube TV all over the place, not a single Larry O'Brien. Did you see that they animated two Larry O'Brien trophies on the court game 2? I was like,
I'm very mad about that too.
Yeah, because it's fake. It's not real. Like, one of the trophies looked ugly as shit, all bent and whatnot. I digress on that. What I mean by is I'm not surprised by the outcome with it being 1-1, and I'm enjoying this style of game because it's not for the Pacers. It's chuck as many threes as you possibly can because we said that's what they were going to do. But for OKC, you are seeing a transition of where the league, I'm hoping, goes. Find people in the post, dribble, drive for a mid-range potential dunk. Maybe it's a kick-out 3, but OKC's offense is predicated underneath the arc. And to me, I like that because I'm seeing people like Jalen Williams post you up and fade for a mid-range. Shea get you into his spot like what we used to see with Paul Pierce, right elbow, cash. And like that basketball to me is more. It's easier because I'm like, all right, cool. That's a shot that like he should make, not the sixth string bench player that I know is just chucking threes because like analytics tells him to. That's not basketball.
Yeah, and the thing with OKC is it's not like they're incapable of taking threes. They have pretty good 3-point shooters throughout the roster. I think maybe Hartenstein's the one who's not a non-shooter, but they prefer to take the most efficient shots, right? Layups and free throws and dunks, of course. I am surprised. I'm not surprised. I was surprised after game one, just because of the upset. But you said like last time we met, if they're going to steal a game, it has to be game one, which they did. But in general, it kind of has gone the way we thought as far as OKC is the better team on paper. They've been the better team all year. And outside of some weird things in game one and an absolute ridiculous buzzer beater by Halliburton, this thing has been super lopsided. There was one lead change in game one, and it was the last shot.
Yep.
Game two, it was close for the first quarter.
Half.
Not even the first half, because
yeah, you're right.
It didn't feel like it was out of hand in the first half, but Oklahoma City built a 12, 13, 14 point lead, and they kind of held that thing until it became like a 20-point lead, and then it swung back to 13, and then it ballooned back out. But for the most part, like this thing has been in the control of the Thunder. And if you're Indy, I would ask you the question, and I think they're happy, but I think they're not happy. I think they should be happy because they did their job. They stole a game, which was what you needed to do as the underdog. But you do have to have a sour taste in your mouth going back to Indianapolis, stealing game one, and in the fashion in which game two played out, where it was like an anaconda choking you to death. You can't be happy about how that ended for them. Although it was predictable, because usually this situation, you do see the home team really bring it in game two.
So I'm gonna take a victory lap on this one and say yes, I called that there was going to be a game one upset, like, and it was going to happen the exact way that it did. Tyrese Halliburton hitting the crazy shot for the win. Like, the problem with it is because OKC played so mid game one and Chet didn't perform. I said it. I was like, the way that Indiana is going to stay in the series is if Jalen Williams doesn't have a good game. Good games, and Chet doesn't have good games. Yeah, Chet had 5 points, if that's what you're going to check.
No, I was going to say, you can finish your point, but I want to check something else.
Yeah, so Shea went off. Shea went off for damn near 40, right? And they won by a game-winning shot. I love the mystique. I've said it plenty of times since we started doing these playoffs. I love the mystique of what's going on with Indiana, but it's going to catch up to them because they can't keep going down 15, 20 points to make their miraculous comeback. OKC is the best team in the NBA. They're not the New York Knicks, right? They're not the injury-plagued Milwaukee Bucks. Like, they have their full fleet of stars on their team with the MVP that's on the other side. So game two happened, and the reason why you usually feel comfortable if like you steal one but like lose game two as the road team is because you lose game two with the like mentality of, all right, we didn't play our best game and they played really great. No, Indiana played the exact same way that they did game one, and OKC was like, that was our worst game that we played of the playoffs. We're not going to play like that again. And they didn't, right? Like, they had guys that just elevated their game. Chet Holmgren played above par, which is what I told you he needed to do. Jalen Williams still didn't have a great shooting percentage game, but he hit the key shots that were needed. Shea did his thing. And then you have guys like Wiggins and Caruso that came off the bench, and you're like, all right, that's who we are. That's who this team is. They can attack you from multiple different directions, offensively and defensively. And even with the crazy shot, I know this is a lot, so you can make yours happen.
You are just peppering me with every take you got.
Even with the miraculous shot with Tyrese from game one, he has been underwhelming in both games, which hopefully he can find it in Indiana. You're not going to win games with him scoring less than 20 points. You're not going to win this series with him scoring less than 20 points. I'll say that.
All right, let's start one at a time.
Yeah.
You do this to me. You just like barrage me with everything. On the Chet thing game one, I do think, yeah, I agree. He was timid. He was very mid. He wasn't even mid. He was bad in game one.
Very bad. He had 5 points.
But I would say this: 24 minutes. So the minutes were down. I was a little.
Let's multiply that by 2. He gets 10 points. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I know. But I was perplexed with Oklahoma City's approach in game 1. They have played the double big lineup almost the entirety of the playoffs. That has been their go-to starting lineup with Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. They played, I think, a combined like 3 minutes together, or if that in game 1. Hartenstein had 17 minutes in game 1. They did expand that a little bit in game 2. I got to check the minutes. I think Holmgren was closer to 30, and I think Isaiah was somewhere around 22. So like both of them had an increased role. And there was a bout, I believe, at the end of the first quarter where they played together for about 5 or 6 minutes consecutively. I thought that was a really good look for Oklahoma City. They absolutely dominated the boards in those minutes, and they made it extremely difficult for the Pacers to get anywhere inside. I remember a specific play watching the replay of Hartenstein gets switched off, I think, into Obi Toppin, and Obi's like, "Oh, I'm taking him to the basket." Goes to the basket, goes for a layup, and then big old Chet's right there, swatted away. So I really like those minutes. I can see why they want to move away from that because, again, Indiana's best offense has been getting in transition, even if it's not a turnover or
Just fast paced.
yeah, they just play fast paced. It doesn't even have it can be off a made basket. They want to push the pace.
It could be off a missed shot.
Anything.
Yeah.
They want to get down the court in a few seconds. So I could see why Oklahoma City, of course, my thing is binging.
Message.
I can see why they want to size down, but I do think utilizing as much size as they can helps Oklahoma City. For me, the only player who's actually been fantastic in this final so far is SGA. He was the only one who showed up in game 1. I think he had 34 points,
38
points,
32,
tad under 50% from the field in that game. And then last night, just a masterclass in game 2. And what I think has been very impressive with Shea's performances in both games is, again, we talked about him being tagged a foul merchant throughout the playoffs. And a lot of the shots that he's making in these finals are very difficult, smooth. It's hard to describe how he is playing right now, but he's just so silky smooth, getting to any spot he wants in the paint and making it look so easy. I want to say one thing to you is looking at the Pacers, I think the big difference here is that for the Thunder, they have at least one guy in SGA who is that dude, silky smooth, who can, when you need a bucket, he will get you a shot. The only guy on Indiana that can actually do it at this moment, and it's not great, is maybe Pascal Siakam, and it's not a pretty style. He's taking blows and shots in the basket. Maybe Nembhard. I would not put Halliburton anywhere near that conversation of getting his own basket in the series.
Not right now. And yeah, so the main difference in this is SGA is the MVP of the league, and he's showing it, right? I don't care what anybody says about free throws or shooting percentages. That shit gets thrown out the window when it comes to the finals. It's just win by any means, right? I don't care if you go 8 for 30 and you end up with 30 points because you got 22 free throws. He's the one that's shooting the ball, and I'm living or dying with him being the one. Indiana doesn't have that. It's very ugly when Tyrese tries to do it. They have an incredible record. It's 20-2 when he scores over 20 points. But then they're 23 and 20, I think, when he scores less than it. So that's 50 games of him not reaching 20 points. That's a large sample size of him proving that he's not the guy that's going to go out there and get you 30, 35. Where that's needed in the NBA finals. You got to play above your par. You can't always just play to your averages, which look at the box scores. I said it. I was like, what are you going to get from Pascal? You get 18, 10 rebounds. And that's what he's basically doing right now. But you need more than that because this is the best team in the NBA the past back-to-back years regular season wise. And now you got the MVP there's not a single player on the other side, Indiana, that can limit him. Slow him down. He's playing at his pace. He's getting his shots the way he wants to. He's getting to the rim when he wants to. He'll occasionally take a three because he sees that people back off of him. But he's doing what he wants to at his pace. And because Indiana doesn't have an answer for it, it could get ugly. Right now, game 2 proved a lot more for what OKC can be than what Indiana can be.
Yeah, I know you alluded to earlier in the conversation about how Indiana's attacking this series against Oklahoma City, and I think they agreed with my premise of we are the big underdogs here. Let's try to play the math game. Let's take more threes. Game 1, they took 39 threes. Game 2, they took 40.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to their previous series against the Knicks, they averaged 31 threes a game. I have to check their season averages, but that number from last series is up 30 to 40% as far as volume.
Yep.
The big difference here in the series is like they're taking this approach, high variance, live by the 3, die by the 3. Their threes in game 1, they were 46% in game 1. In game 2 from 3, just get the exact number for you so I'm not
35.
flexing. What'd you say?
35% from
35%, right? I'm not saying that their percentages are going down just because they're missing threes. I think the big difference in watching game 2, and again, I've taken a very thorough approach to these finals, D. I've gone back and watched the games after knowing the results to like really dive into how this happened. The level of intensity in their defense between game 1 and game 2 from the Thunder is night and day.
Mm-hmm.
They were putting bodies on Pacers players the second they crossed half court. They flew around the entirety of game 2, and they're towing this line, the Thunder, of playing as aggressive as you can without fouling.
Yep.
And it's making it very difficult for the Pacers. I would say this too, and I know this is probably the big talk on the sports shows and ESPNs and whatnot. Tyrese Halliburton, you mentioned it, game 1, was actually mid at best, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna remember that bucket to seal the game at the end of the game. Game 2, going into that fourth quarter, like so eliminating the garbage time, he had three baskets or 3 points, 3 assists, or 3 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists.
Mm-hmm.
That's awful.
Yes.
And when I went back and looked at how we got to this point, it was worrisome. It wasn't that he was playing poorly. It's that he was checked out. I wrote down, I watched the entirety of the first quarter just to kind of see like how did he set the tone for the game. Are you ready? These are all of the offensive possessions, what he did. Now, bear with me. This might be terrible for the audience.
Well, everybody that's listening, check in for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just going to read off what Tyrese Halliburton did in the first quarter. Top of the circle, pass to the corner, assist. So that was good. Like that was top of the 3-point arc, pass assist. Drives to the key. It was a weak drive. Passes out. Goes nowhere. Standing on the side of the 3-point line, doesn't touch the ball in the third possession. Stands at the 3, passes it away. Someone else does something, no assist. Standing in the corner, doesn't touch his hands. Next possession. Standing in the corner again, doesn't touch his hands. Takes 4 dribbles, passes, and just goes around 3-point line. Someone else does something. Passes the corner, gets passed out. Drives down the court, passes to a 3, passes out. It goes on like this.
Mm-hmm.
He drives
first quarter too, by the way.
Yeah, drives down the lane, weak drive, doesn't have any intention, passes out of it. Step back 3, misses, passes from the top of the logo and stands there. Takes a 3 from the top from the logo, misses. Stands at the logo, stands in the corner, stands at the logo. Unforced backcourt violation. It just, what are you doing? It looks like someone who, you know what it looks like?
A 6-man.
Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler. He's there, but he ain't there. Like this is the finals, Tyrese.
Yeah.
It's I would, again, this is from football. You know this, the old saying in football. I would rather you make a mistake and go 110%.
I'm with you on that.
He's going 40%.
He's checked out because of the way that OKC's defense is taking away his ability to score. His ability to score is getting to the lane and either going up or kicking out, and somebody hits an open 3 because they collapse.
But he's not driving aggressively enough to collapse.
They're not allowing him to drive aggressively enough. Lou Dort is putting hands on him. When Alex Caruso is out there, he's putting hands on him. When Jalen Williams, the other one, not J Dub, that one, not the bench player. When he's out there, he's putting hands on him. Like they are. I won't say pressing like it's high school basketball, but they're making it so it's like a living hell. When you touch the ball, we're not just going to let you get into your bag and dribble us to death. We're going to bump you. And then you got to figure out if you're either going to put your shoulder down and try to make a move or pass out of it. Because when you pass the ball up, we're not just collapsing with everybody else. We're going to stay right in your face so you don't get the ball back. And like that took him out of the game. And it allowed him to do it in the fourth quarter, quote unquote, in garbage time, which like cut the lead down to 16. But those first 2 quarters, they took him out of the game physically. It obviously resulted into it mentally with him not being aggressive, but physically, they are just bumping him when he touches the ball or when he gets to, like you said, half court without the ball. Like, look, man, like this ain't all, rainbows and horseshoes. Like it was fun game one. You won yours. You got that shot. Now let's see you do it again. And like this is the team that like they're not the bad boys Pistons, but they're one of the best defenses in the. I think they were the best defense in the NBA.
They were.
And they're showing it where it's like we're not just going to let you get to your spot because you want to get there. You got to figure it out.
The biggest contrast for the Pacers this round versus the previous round versus the Knicks is the Knicks had pieces you could hunt. Right, you could find Brunson, you could find Towns. It's really hard to find a weakness in this Oklahoma City defense, especially when you don't have Hartenstein out there, right? Maybe that's why they've been doing this.
Mm-hmm.
When it's just Chet, like, is Chet a great perimeter defender? No, but like, he's big and can move a little bit. And Tyrese isn't the fastest guard in the world. The worst defender is SGA. SGA, and he's a good defender.
And he's a good defender, yeah. He's not like a bad one. He's 6'6" with 6'10" wingspan.
Which, like, I know this is like a little bit sports radio talk conversation, but it does bring back the conversation about Tyrese. Like, is he an actual superstar? Because he is phenomenal, right? He is an excellent player.
Fringe All-NBA player.
But if he can't win these one-on-one battles to create difficulties around him, this thing's over, right? Because like they need someone to do something, right? Draw a double, collapse a defense. They need something. And like no one is providing that at the moment.
He needs to be able to find a way to just get an in-rhythm shot. OKC's not going to allow that to happen. Like they're going to, as soon as his foot touches the mid-court logo, somebody's in his face. Like, figure it the fuck out. You got 20 seconds. Try to figure it out. Whereas SG, I know they can't press him, and there's no defender for the Pacers that can do the same thing to SGA. And even if you did, he's not going to James Harden you into a foul. He's going to get you into the spot where he wants to get his shot off. Now, if he pump fakes, you're going to jump because he's an excellent mid-range shooter. Boom, foul. I'm at the free throw line or making the bucket. You think that I'm going to pump fake because he's got he's a Kentucky kid. Everybody that came from Kentucky as a guard can dribble the ball. And he's just happens to be the tallest out of all of them. So he can put you in the spot where he needs to and get to the lane or step back if he has to. He has so many weapons to his leisure on the offensive side, whereas Halliburton is a little bit more limited. He's got a cool three when it's going. It's ugly as shit. But like when it's going, it looks great. When it's not, you know that he can only get to the rim. He's not pulling up and shooting a mid-range. That's just not his type of game. So if you could take away his ability to shoot the three and force him into the Twin Towers and Hartenstein and Chet down low, let alone Jalen Williams, who's at very similar, very close to All-NBA defender, Lou Dort, who is an All-NBA defender, like that's a lot. That's a lot of size that you got to deal with, and it's what's beat down guards out west for the last 2 years.
Going back to game one, another advantage Indy did have was the rebounding advantage. I think they were plus 12 or plus 10 rebounding on OKC. That flipped back to, I think, at least neutral in game two. So that definitely helped them out and clean that up. Looking ahead to game 3 and 4. If I'm the Pacers, right, these are some pretty pivotal games. I don't think they would. You win one at home at this point. Like, okay, you need to win 2 out of 3 on the road. If they really want to win this finals, I think they have to pull off the miracle and win both of these home games.
True.
To do so, I still think the best approach is to keep that high 3-point volume. You expect going back home, some of those role players will play a little better, be a little more comfortable. I think for the Pacers, I know this is just kind of like throwing this out there in the wind doesn't really mean much, but they're going to need a contribution from someone else besides Tyrese, who I don't even know if he's going to show up in the series, and it's going to be a random guy like a Benedict Mathurin, right? Someone who could just be a flamethrower and show up. An Andrew Nemhart, like
Nope.
no,
It's got to be Aaron Nesmith. He's the
wow.
best shooter on the team. It has to be.
Well, I'm not saying necessarily from three. I just need someone to have.
I'm just a scorer. We saw. I Nemhart has made some phenomenal step back shots. So like, I'm not saying that he can't.
I like Nemhart.
Yeah, he's decent on defense.
He's
We know what.
feisty.
Yeah, I give him that, and he's got like a lot of Jose Alvarado in him, but like more of an offensive game. He's a pest. I'll say that, offensively and defensively. We know what Pascal Siakam's peak is. It's 18 and 10. It's just what it's going to be, unfortunately. We know Miles Turner is 15 and 10. It's just what it is. Aaron Nesmith needs to go channel whatever it was that he found in that game against New York when he went off for 3. I know it was a crazy amount of threes that he hit. He went off for 30, sorry. There's a crazy amount of threes that he hit, but that's what you're going to need because you're going to need the crowd to get behind that type of shot. You don't get the role players making a layup and it like pumps people up. It's the long ball. And what we already said, you've said it more than anything, they have to shoot a lot of threes. He's their best 3-point shooter. So if Indiana is going to make this a series and make this 2-2, maybe even 3-1, I don't see 3-1. I see the best case scenario is 2-2 going back to Oklahoma City. It's got to be Aaron Nesmith becoming a flamethrower in the next 2 games.
And then on the flip side, defensively, they obviously struggled mightily with SGA in the first 2 games. I haven't seen anyone really show up individually for the Thunder outside of SGA. Like you have a really nice Caruso game in game 2, but he's not an offensive engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't seen the big Jalen Williams game yet. You haven't seen the big Chet game yet. I would like to see them employ more zone. And if you want to get even crazy, like do a box and 1, like force somebody outside SGA to beat you. And specifically, if SGA is going to beat you by taking threes, have at it. We got to stop him from getting into the paint, like hard stop, because he's either getting a bucket or he's collapsing. He's just collapsing everyone, right? So I would like to see a zone where at least there will be someone to meet him at the rim every single time and make his life miserable.
Jalen's going to go off. I don't know if it's game 3 or game 2. I don't think you're going to be able to get that from Chet. And I already said that if the way that Indiana wins this series is if you get very mediocre performances from Chet and Jalen. I think you got that game 1 and you won by 1. I'm not going to say that they played mediocre in game 2. It was more of a controlled win. At all times, after the first quarter, at all times, they were up between 8 and 16. So, like, you don't need the 40-point game from Jalen Williams. Because of that, you got this dude named SGA who's going to do that, right? Like, keep them in control, keep them in front. On the road, you're going to need another big game from someone. And I think you're going to see it could be game 3 just because of the way that everything's working out with SGA being the focal point of the offense right now. Game 3, you could see someone like a Jalen Williams go off between 20 and 30 points. And I think he's going to be the benefactor he's going to be the X factor that shuts up Indiana. Be like, look, we are the better team. I can't see it from Chet. I don't think it's Isaiah, Lou, or Caruso again. Wiggins played phenomenally game 2, but that probably won't be sustainable. I think you're going to get the trademark Jalen Williams game that is needed, which he showed that he was the second best player on this team in the regular season.
And then my final point, as far as Indiana is concerned, they have to be zombies. And what I mean by that is this is a team that is able to hang around and hang around and hang around. And I don't know what it is, D, but like there's an aura about them, right? Mm-hmm. All of these insane comebacks this postseason, the Bucks against the Cavs, against the Knicks, and now against OKC. I assure you that teams that play against the Pacers, when there's 2 minutes left and it's a 4-point game, they start to feel a little tight. For the Pacers, no matter what happens going forward, you can never let go of the rope. Stay within 6, 7 points going to that fourth quarter. Just need to stay within striking distance because there's something weird about this team that you cannot quantify by statistics. They just have this thing where like they are not afraid of letting go, right? They have this supreme confidence that they can come back and win the game. And I think there's something psychologically that they have an edge there. And I'm just saying, like, for them, no matter what happens, because OKC is one of those teams where, like, once they start to see blood in the water, typically, they feast, right? And this happened in game 2. Stick around, be zombies. Do not let the moment get away from them.
I'm probably going to catch a lot of heat for this, but I could give two shits. I think you get more of that from the weak-mindedness of the Eastern Conference than you do from OKC. OKC fucked up. That was it. They blew a lead that they shouldn't have blown when it comes to what they had in game 1. I don't think the best regular season team with the MVP and coach of the year in Dagnall, he won it last year, right?
He won it
not this year. I think he won
prior year, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you have all of that. This team is not going to allow that to happen multiple times in a series. You have the Knicks who are weak-minded. You have the Cavs who are weak-minded. Donovan never really gets out of the first round. And then you had the Bucks who were injury-plagued with everything that they had going on there. I don't think you can get that same type of energy from OKC that's going to be like tight when it's a close game because they have a closer themselves. And that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who can hit those big shots. And it happened to be just crazy event after crazy event in game 1 with them being down 7 with like a minute and a half left. You can't keep playing. I know that there's something strange going on in Indiana. I've said it the last 2 or 3 weeks. But you can't keep playing with house money and expect that to be able to bail you out.
I know. I think statistically they're like the best. This is like the best clutch
in the history
run in the history of NBA.
In the history of the league. We went over stats of 300 times where somebody was down 16 or more. They're one of the only teams to do it. They did it twice. We went over another teams were 1 in 70 when you were down 3 possessions with less than 15 seconds left, and they won. So, yes, they are the most clutch team in the history of the NBA, playoff-wise, this team. But you can't keep going down 15, 16 points and expect to come back.
I know you say, the Thunder won't do this. They have a closer. They have a guy who can hit his bucket in SGA. My only counter is this team has been so dominant all year, and they've won by large margins, that they have not had a ton of games where they had to play in clutch time. And when they gone down the stretch against the Denver Nuggets, they had problems. So I'm just saying, why
do you know why?
They have Nikola Jokic, but
when Jokic is not walking out the locker room for Indiana.
This team is a team that either like blows you up by 30 or they struggle in close games. And that kind of favors the Pacers.
Fair. I'm not going to disagree with you on that point.
They got to be zombies. We'll see. So when is game 3? Wednesday night. So it'll be 2 nights from now. So next time we meet, maybe next week, we'll see. We'll see what goes on. We might have an NBA champion. We might not. But either way, I'm looking forward to the remainder of the finals. It's been more exciting than I think people have thought going into it.
I'm enjoying it. And for those that are saying that this is a terrible series because like it's too, what do they call them?
Small markets.
Yeah, small market teams. Like if you like basketball, you like basketball. And I'm a fan of both the way that OKC plays and what Tyrese Halliburton is doing. So it's an enjoyable series to watch. I don't like the ads. Can't stand the ads that I'm seeing on the screen when I'm watching it. But everything else about the NBA Finals has been great.
Can I say something that might be slightly
go ahead
insulting?
Yeah.
When I see the Oklahoma City fans and at the NBA Finals, it doesn't feel like the NBA Finals.
Why? Because they're all wearing blue shirts?
They're all wearing blue shirts. They're all kind of like corny looking. Like I feel like it's a college atmosphere. I mean, that's not a bad thing.
But like that's better. And
they love the team, but it doesn't feel like the finals.
Coming from an LA fan where you just have Jack Nicklaus in the front, Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, all these celebrities that as soon as it gets to a 10-point, they're down 10, they leave, and front row's just empty. I would rather in the NBA Finals see the whole crowd and when that ball. What was the best stadium in the history of basketball when it comes to NBA Finals? Oracle Arena. I don't care what anybody
Yes,
says.
that's the one.
When Golden State was
Or
on, yes,
you have
when
to give a shout out to the Boston Celtics. It has a very
Celtics
good
do it
atmosphere.
right. Celtics do it right. They're more professional, as weird as it is to say. They're more professional than Oracle. Oracle was, it didn't matter if they had stars. That front row, they all had those golden shirts on.
Mm.
And it was the loudest stadium in NBA Finals history. I'll take that, which is what OKC is trying to replicate over oh well, we're all wearing the same shirt. Nah, man, like this is the NBA Finals. They're representing their team. It's better than them not
Exactly.
doing that, and it's just a professional thing where it's like, yeah, after this game, I'm gonna go out to dinner. Nah, man, like get drunk and celebrate with everybody.
We'll see
Like
how I
that's what,
feel.
yeah,
We'll
I
see
can see that.
how I feel up to game 3 and see Oklahoma, Indiana fans. Maybe I'll
Indiana's
change
just
my
gonna
mind.
be just nonchalant.
All right, let's do our last segment. It's more of a fun just conversation about basketball. You occasionally, you'll go on the internet and see these $15 to build X, Y, Z teams. I ran into one today I thought was kind of interesting. So I
Yep.
kind of wanted to bring it to your attention, D. And if you're in the audience watching on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, please chime in with your comments. It's one of those things, $15 to build your starting five. And this is broken down by players 25 or under. So it's all the young talent in the league. I looked at this and thought about it for a little bit. And I think I built out a team that I really enjoy.
Mhm.
Just for the podcast listeners who are not visualizing this, again, if you're watching on Spotify or listening on Spotify, you can see us. You can see this. So $5 players, you have Victor, Anthony Edwards, Cade, Evan Mobley, Tyrese. $4 players, Paulo, Jaron Jackson Jr., Jalen Williams, Zion, which again, it's instead of front that Zion's a $4 player. What are we doing here? $3 players, Franz Wagner, LaMelo, Tyler Hero, Chet, Darius Garland, 2, Amen Thompson, Alperen Şengün, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Green, Scotty Barnes, and then finally the $1, the bargain bin players, Stephon Castle, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson. By the way, Jalen Johnson's excellent. I'm surprised he's a $1 player. I know he's hurt, but he was excellent. Jordan Poole and then Jalen Duren. Do you want me to give my team first, or do you want to go first?
Sure, you can go.
All right, so I put some thought into this. I think right off the bat, you gotta spend some money, right?
100%.
100%. If there's one guy in this list I'm building my team around, it's obviously Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, I think that's universal or unanimous when it comes to anybody that's starting this. Your number one pick with the $15 that you have in your pocket, it has to be Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, he's clearly like head and shoulders better. I don't care if you're the biggest Ant-Man. I mean, I'm wearing an Anthony Edwards jersey right now. He's head and shoulders better than all of these other players on the list.
Yes.
So I'm going Victor Wembanyama as my $5 player. And then my next thought was like, all right, I got to balance my budget and find a bargain player. So I went to the $1 bin. And I started to think in my mind, I want to build an extremely scary defensive team. Like I'm trying to think of how it would play out on the basketball court.
Yep.
So Victor, obviously shot blocker, steals. Give me the great barrier thief. Dyson Daniels. Like I have a wing. He's not quite a 3-point marksman, but like I have an excellent wing defender who can guard 2 through 4 and get steals. And now I need to build out some shooting. So I'm like, I have $9 left. I'll just grab three $3 players. I don't know if that just defaulted to that. I'm going to pair with Victor Wembanyama, Chet You Betcha.
Okay.
Dog, so I have Victor, Chet, and Dyson Daniels.
That's a very tall lineup right there. I like that.
Guard, I'm going Darius Garland.
Okay.
Right? A ball handler, 3-point shooter, and I want another 3-point shooter. I am not getting Franz. I love Franz Wagner. I need some shooting. LaMelo Ball, not my cup of tea. Don't like him. So I'm going to grab Tyler Hero. Again, like a tall shooting guard. I can put him at the 2. He can handle for me. He's an excellent 3-point shooter. I think he's shooting above like somewhere around 41, 42%. He won the 3-point competition. So I have a team who like my guards, not great defenders, but does it matter when the front court is Victor, Chet, and Dyson Daniels? Probably not all that much.
Okay. I don't mind that lineup. I think in this day and age of, you just said it, like all these people are less than 25, the game is geared towards 3 and D. So like I don't mind this lineup. I got a lineup that I think if there were clones, because it goes back and forth with some people that were taken, I think you guys would get absolutely smoked. And what I mean by that is you got some cats over there, but you ain't got dogs over there. So let me start you off with who I'm running at the 5. It's going to be Victor, clearly, right? Wemby takes over the $5. He's the anchor offensively and defensively
Absolutely.
with the $5. Number 2, they say scared money don't make no money. I'm going with Ant Edwards. So I got
Oh, you're balling out.
so I got Wemby
Okay.
and Ant. There's 10 out of the 15.
Okay.
But I got two. I got the offensive
You got two,
staple.
two, and $1 left.
Yep. I got the offensive staple and I got the defensive staple, right?
Well, I mean, Edwards is also a defensive staple too.
He's a dog, right? I
Yeah.
said you got some cats. Ain't nothing wrong with some cats like 80s, right? 70s. We call some cats. But I'm getting dogs. My $2. You missed out on one of the craziest defenders that's out there. I'm going with Eamon Thompson. 100%. I'm putting him on whoever your best point guard is or your best secondary scorer. I'm putting Thompson on him. He's going to dog you. Offensively, he might not have that much of a game. He can develop, but that's what I got Ant for. And I got Victor, obviously. With my second $1 bill, going with Dyson Daniels, another defender. This day and age, you can get away with a 6'7" power forward. You said he can cover 1 through 4. If he's going out there against Chet, obviously we're going to need a secondary big, right? If you got him at the 4 and you got Chet, I got no problem with finding an Isaiah Hartenstein to come off the bench. But you got to deal with Dyson Daniels running around the court, swinging for everybody.
So wait, now you have just $2 left, right?
$1.
Oh.
$1. I used 5,
3. 1, 2.
Yeah, 5, 5, 1, and 2. So I got $1 left.
You have $2 left.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that. I don't even need the extra $1. Don't need it because I don't need another score, that's what you get with Scotty, Jalen, and Tyrese. I don't need that in my lineup.
He's in 3 though.
Yeah, I'm going with Stephon Castle.
That's gross.
I'm going with the rookie of the year, the guy that can facilitate. 100%. He can facilitate. He can get the ball where it needs to go. He can score. The man can get his 20 to 25 if he needs to, but you don't need a scorer. You have dogs. You need a distributor. You said you were rolling out there Darius Garland. Of all people that you could have picked,
I wish we had that sound clip of like, I need dogs, not cats.
I'm not saying your lineup is bad. It's your lineup.
It's a good lineup.
You cannot roll out there Tyler Hero and Darius Garland. Like if one's off, you're fucked because they can't play defense. Darius Garland's not a defender.
I don't need defense. I don't need
defense. At some point, your guards are going to need to play defense. Look at what's happening to Indiana right now. Like, it's just got to happen. You're going to find who's the weak link, and there happens to be 3 chain links that need to be fixed. Yeah, my bad. There's 3 chain links that need to be fixed. Whereas my lineup, yeah, Stephon Castle, he's more of the facilitator. I could use the extra $1 if it's needed. I don't need to. I don't need a maxi on my team, right? I don't need that because I have Ant Edwards running my 2, and I got Victor. But Dyson Daniels and Eamon Thompson, you're not scoring.
My only issue is that
Tyler Hero is not getting a shot off against
your lineup has Amen Thompson, Stephon Castle, and Dyson Daniels. None of them are shooters. My team is just.
I got the best shooting. I got the best shooter in the NBA this year.
Give him space. We're just passing the paint on you.
I got the best shooter in the NBA this year. Ant Edwards, most 3-pointers, highest percentage. Yes, dogs, defensive dogs. Let's put this one on Facebook and let's see who's got the better lineup. How about that?
Are you sure you don't use that extra $1?
Maybe I'll use that extra $1 because I didn't realize that I had it.
Yeah.
Might pick up, Alfred Şengün if that's the case, and just put Ant Edwards at the 1.
Oh God, what is Jordan Poole doing on this list?
So the 2 names that surprised me the most was Tyler Hero and Jordan Poole. I was like, ugh. That's ugly. I mean, you could be in the league.
You
True. He's been to the finals a couple times.
And he just won the 3-point. No, did he win the 3-point competition?
He might have. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
think he
didn't
just
really
won
watch the
competition.
All-Star weekend. I had a note on that, but we don't need to go over it. It's just weird because like they've both been in the league for so long, but they're still under 25 because they were I think they left as freshmen.
Oh, that reminds me. Actually, there's a talking point, and before we get out of here, just really quick, that I wanted to bring up a couple weeks ago because there was all this conversation about, hey, like guys are getting injured, like we have a lot of guys injured. There's just a lot of games, but the league will never cut down the number of games, right? Because it's TV contracts, there's money, there's a lot of financial obligations. So we're playing 82, right? I think universally there's an idea like health wise, like it'd be better for these guys to play 70 games or something or whatever, right? I had this idea. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
What if the NBA did like a games cap limit? So in a given week, any player on your team can only participate in 4 games a week. So if there's a 5-game week, the player has to sit out. You don't like this? You have to play. So it gets more bench guys involved, and it forces roster construction to be a little deeper.
No,
you're out.
Way out on caps. No.
We
already have a problem with superstars wanting to sit out, let alone if you give them the option. Oh shit, it's my 5 days of working. Yeah, let me get this day off, brother. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm good with
all
that.
right, I just think I throw out there.
I am always going to be for the fan of, look, some people I unfortunately never got to watch Kobe Bryant play. It was but the way that
you never watched him play at all. What do you mean?
No, live.
Oh, in person.
Hear me out where I'm going with this. Now, I never got to watch him live. When he was at his peak, I wasn't making money like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I was a kid. When he got a little bit older, I still wasn't really able to afford because it was either 1 game in Boston per year.
It's the Lakers, so it's jacked up.
Exactly. Yeah. A specific date that they play on Christmas. Sorry, bro. I love Kobe, RIP, but I'm not going to be able to afford or go to a Christmas Celtics Lakers game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So those fans that they may only have the bread to go to 1 fucking game, and it's the cheapest game in town because the Golden State Warriors are playing the Charlotte Hornets, and it's $70 per ticket, and they can finally get to one. And then Steph Curry sits out because it's his PTO day. That pissed me off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be like, "What the fuck, dog?"
Well, you have to submit the days off prior.
So as long as the supervisor approves the PTO that these NBA
put the PTO in.
Yeah, and they letting me know weeks in advance of the ticket that I purchased before they jack up the prices on StubHub.
Hey, it was just an idea.
It's not a bad one. I'm not going to shoot it down, but like I think it's a terrible one at the end of the day.
You're like, it's not a bad one. I'm not going to shoot down, but just fuck that idea. More or less.
Good
all
stuff.
Right. Good show. This is a quick one because I know we all have obligations outside of the show. So hey, if you're watching live, keep on the stream for D Twitch at D Frizzy Frizz _5. He's doing a 2K stream after this, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so check that out. But before we get out of here, let's hit up some closing takes, parting thoughts.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes.
All right, D, closing takes. Last chance for you and me to get off some last thoughts. It doesn't have to be related to anything we've talked about today. It doesn't have to be sports. It's just kind of our time to shine. Talk about whatever we want. I just want to make a quick shout out. I'll just go. Why do I do you every time? I will go first. I just want to give a shout out to Coco Gauff because I feel like if the Serena and Venus Williams sisters never existed, Coco Gauff would be a bigger story. She's 21 years old, just won her 2nd major at the French Open this past weekend. 21. I remember seeing this young lady started playing professional tennis at the U.S. Open at the age of 16 years old. Not only playing, but winning rounds, Coco Gauff. And I want you to think back to where you were at 21. I was in a college dorm, probably blackout on a couch, and this This young woman is winning Grand Slam majors. It's incredible. And I think that if there was no Serena Williams, this woman would be getting so much more attention, so much more respect. So I think she deserves her roses for doing these incredible things at such a young age. And I am extremely excited to see where her career goes.
That's awesome. Big shouts to tennis for that one. And I'm glad you actually went that route because I think you stole mine.
Did I really? We're going to go Coco Gauff.
You definitely stole mine. The reason why I'll go the other route because I was going to give a shout not just to to tennis, but Carlos Alcaraz. I think it is. I might have pronounced it incorrectly.
Oh,
but on the male side, I don't even need the solo. No worries. On the male side, on the clay, he is the first to win I think 5 Grand Slams since Rafa did it. And it's like, I think they did it at the same age, like 22 years old or something like that. So like, it's an entertaining sport right now. The fact that like you have young stars that are taking over in regards to as the older guys and gals start to retire. The Williams sisters obviously are pretty much out of the game. We know Rafa's done. Federer has been gone for a while. There's a few other people that are trying to do their thing. Djokovic is on the on the tail end of his career. Like you're looking for the next big thing. And this Carlos Alcaraz guy who also did the exact same thing, winning on clay, another Grand Slam for him, the second youngest to do it alongside of Rafael Nadal. So it's cool. It's cool that you were going to give a shot. I was going to do both, but you took Coco Gauff. Again, the same thing. If the Venus and Serenas of the world weren't around, this would be an incredible story of what she's been able to accomplish since she started her pro career. So good stuff.
Yeah. Tennis is wild, man. It's a fun sport to watch. It's a tough sport to watch because a lot of the biggest tennis matches occur in Australia, the Australian Open, French Open.
It's always a timing thing.
Wimbledon's in England. So, I mean, the minimum difference is 5 hours. So it can be a little tough to be a tennis fan. Same thing with F1. I don't like F1. It's not my thing, but that's another tough one to watch because they're on at all weird times of the day. No, you're not a big racing fan.
You catch me watching F1, NASCAR, none of that shit.
F1 is like insanely, like growing insanely in popularity. It's something.
I remember when I was younger, and like how there's always like these things that are like scary in the world, like we're gonna run out of fossil fuels. I remember being like a kid and be like, well, if we're gonna run out of fuel, why don't we just get rid of NASCAR? Like that's just a waste of gas. Like it's just people driving. It's like just me being 10 years old and be like, that's a dumbass sport. Like they don't even turn right. It's a left turn the whole fucking time. Just
hey man, spinning. Watch your mouth. Adam Holmes gonna come slap your ass.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna say some shit. So big shouts to Adam Houghton, who is the only person I have ever seen fall asleep at the wheel while playing a video game.
On that note, D, get us out of here.
All right. Thank you all for being here. A quick one tonight, but a lot of obligations pre and post show, so we couldn't appreciate it more for y'all that were in here. If you want to catch us again, not even new, but the show tomorrow is on Spotify and Apple Podcast. With Spotify, you can watch the video so you can catch us if you missed out all the animations and hand movements and all that shit. Websites at the bottom, frizzandthegrizz.com. Your boys on Twitch, DFrizzy_Frizz5. Going live with the GBA in 5. More than 5, probably like around like 9:30. But you can also find us on any platforms that you guys utilize for podcasts if you want to do that. Be a friend. Say something nice. You never know what it could do for them. Please make sure, because it's summertime around here, y'all. I might not be here next week, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to be on vacation. I love y'all, but we'll see if I bring the equipment or not. Make sure y'all go ahead.
If not, can I do a little special recording for the peeps?
Go do your thing. I might even jump in as a surprise guest. Why not? Well, please make sure y'all take care of y'all mentals. Make sure y'all take care of y'all physicals. Take care of y'all chicken. Take care of y'all chiver, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.
Where are we at in society today? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid.